everybody here. Is everyone excited or scared?
Excited.
Okay, good. Hopefully you're not scared. Last week was the scary one. Or last class. This one might be a little bit too. Okay, so our class today obviously is who are you fucking listening to, right? And the reason why I started Getrichasfuck was to help all of you be, and myself as well, obviously, be the best version of yourself, right? Get everything that you've ever wanted. And I don't take that phrase lightly. I think that most of us are walking around with like a very minuscule amount of what we want. I think that we may have like one or two things that we're working on, but as a whole in our lives, we tend to think that there's so many pieces that are out of touch for us, right? And a really good way of realizing this is when someone, because we're in Beverly Hills, you know, and for people who are at home, like you're wherever you are, but somebody drives by in a really nice car, do you go, oh yeah, I could have that? Or does your brain go like, oh wow, that must be amazing for that person to have that, right? And you start going down this spiral of like, not me, not for me, I'm not going to, and then you start justifying, right? And it's like, well, I don't actually want a Lamborghini anyway. Right? I don't believe in things like, and so it's an interesting thing. I think that what I've come across more so in my time working with people has been people who are doubting that they deserve rather than people who actually believe that they deserve, right? So that's the reason why I started this whole group. And so a big point for me was creating a playbook. And so if you've come in, right, this is the fourth class that we're doing. And so we've had a lot of things that we've gone through, right? We went through your trophies. We went through how to be happy. Last class, we went through what your failures were. And each of these things is important. And so tonight, you know, one of the things that we're going to talk about is who are you listening to? And not in sort of the abstract way of like, you know, we were talking earlier. There is a part of it where the people who are around you are influencing what happens in your mind. But the biggest influence, you know, I posted something the other day and it was like, the words you say to yourself is the most important thing that you're gonna hear today, right? There is nothing that's going to happen on the outside that is more important and going to impact you more than what this thing is doing to you and what this is saying to you, right? Which is the reason why we have to be so kind of get a tight lock on it, right? On what it is and what it's saying. So, okay, so I am sure that some of you are here and you're like, I am not where I thought I would be, right? We have that. We're like, I'm not where I thought it would be. I don't have the things that I thought I would have. I'm 22, 25, 35, 45, whatever it is, right? A big part for a lot of people is that feeling that they should already have something that someone predetermined that they should have or that they determine they have. And I'm here to tell you, like, it's a fucking process. You know, it's a process. And if you're one of the people that's gonna work on this thing, you know, that's gonna get as far as you can on the time that you have here on the planet, you have to give yourself a break and understand it's a process. Like, you can't do something and immediately have it occur. It takes steps, it takes time. Like, part of the reason why this isn't called Get Rich as Fuck tomorrow, right, is because it takes time. Like, it takes you a year to even just figure out what the fuck is going on. You know, for so many people, we live these patterns over and over again, right? And every time, maybe we get it like marginally better. You know, it's like, oh, that gets a little bit better. But it's still the same fucking pattern. And these patterns are like not even yours in most cases, right? In most cases, these patterns come from somewhere that's like even before you, right? And little voices that are put in your head when you're little and someone says, don't draw on the wall, right? So think about this. You're an artist, right? I think most of the people here are artists. I think most people in the world are artists, honestly. And you have this idea when you're little, that you want to create this thing that you see in your head, right? Reading this book, and they were saying one of the reasons why Homo sapiens became the race that is now sitting here today, and it wasn't Neanderthals, and it wasn't, all these other things, was because of the fact that we had the ability to see things that to create things that we had not seen, right? We all have that. You've not seen something, but you have the ability to create it. And so you're little, and you think about it, and you're saying, okay, I want to create this thing. And you go, and you're like, these kitchen cabinets are perfect for this. Right? Perfect kitchen cabinets, all white, amazing, have these crayons, and you go and you start to create, right? Someone walks in, and what happens? Depending on the household that you grew up in, generally you got in trouble, right? Think about how many times throughout your life you had a good idea, or it was a bad idea, but you thought it was good at the time, right? And you ended up getting criticized for it, right? This imprints into you that when you have an idea to do something, you probably shouldn't do it because you're going to get in trouble, right? That's just one thing that we have, that we carry through with us throughout our lives, right? So it's like, it's important to think about that. And that's the reason why we're talking about, like, who do you fucking listen to, It's like, in your brain, there's a bunch of voices. And it's important to figure out what they are, right? Because sometimes we don't know. Okay, so question number 1, right? Everybody has a little book. You can look through. Question number 1, right? Why are you still here? Now, usually I lead these questions. Just answer it however you think it means, right? It can mean, why are you still here, alive? It could mean, why are you still in the same place that maybe you were 6 months ago? It can mean, why do you keep coming back here if you're, doing whatever you're doing, right? Why are you still here? So answer that. Just take a second to answer that. To me, I feel like one of the things that we tend to do to ourselves is, like I said earlier, we aren't gentle and we aren't nice. And we think, I'm going to come to one class and send me the magic pill, or I'm going to do something and I should see results tomorrow. This is a journey, and you are, to sound completely crazy, like exactly where you're supposed to be. It's not a coincidence that you're sitting in this room tonight. It's not a coincidence that whatever bad thing happened to you yesterday, it's not a coincidence that whatever's going to happen to you after you leave here or tomorrow. Like, it's exactly as it's set up to be, right? Because you planned this day, you planned your life 6 months ago. You did a year ago, you did 2 years ago, you did 5 years ago. It just is, right? And that's the reason why I was saying earlier, like, a year's going to go by regardless. It just is. It's going to go by. So you might as well start doing something, because then you get to see the benefit of it, right? Okay, so why are you still here? And do you want to be? Right? So thinking about in your life of where you are right now and why you're still there, right? We'll take it to that question, to that kind of interpretation of it. Why are you, like, do you want to still be where you are? Do you want to change it? Do you want something, magnificent to happen in your life? Or are you cool? Like, are you good? And that's something that, like, you are the only person that can answer. For the people who took it as the sense of, why are you still here, as in coming back here, it's like, is it helping? Are you working? Are you actually doing the work that it takes to get to where it was, right? Because we've done some stuff. For the people that weren't here and haven't been before, it's like, go back in. There's, podcasts, and there's the classes that we've done before. But the way that this is structured is you build yourself up so that you have the ability to then do all the shit that you need to do to get rid of all of this stuff, right? Because obviously, for most of us, there's something holding you back. Right? There's something that's tethering you to the place that you don't want to be. It just is. I don't know what it is for you. I know what it was for me, right? And I discussed this the last class, you know, I grew up and I was born in a trailer park. And so like my whole life, I lived with this idea that there was only this much that was going to be available to me. And that was it because of where I came from. And I saw that as a deficit. So one of the reasons why we worked last time on, right, who are you doing it for? And we went through and talked about our failures was because why? Because the failures hold you back, right? So we're going to take it one step further tonight. Right? So, how many people, you can do show of hands, it's fine. How many people think that they talk to themselves? You talk to yourself. Right? Okay, cool. So like, do you talk to yourself? You have a voice in your head that says, hi, what are you doing? How's it going? Don't do that. Stop doing that, that's dumb, right? Everybody. Here's the thing that we don't realize. That's not actually your voice. So when I say who are you fucking listening to? It's like, who is that? Like, who is that in there? Right? Now it starts to get real scary, right? Where it's like, wait a second, I thought that was me. I thought I was listening to myself. No, because yourself isn't an asshole, and that voice is. Like, it's fucking mean. It's not kind. It's not nice. It's not fucking helpful. Right? Whenever you're like, oh, I wish I could figure out a solution to this, the voice doesn't go, yes, so here's the solution, right? The voice goes, stupid. What, you don't know the solution? Don't you just know it? You should pretend like you know it so everybody thinks that you know it. But you don't know it, so then you're gonna have to leave afterwards so no one knows that you didn't know. Right, like it like goes in this whole thing and it goes on and like next thing you know, you're like, at the burger place, and you're like, the voice is still talking. You're like, how do I get to the burger place? I don't even know how I arrived here because the voice has been, the whole way home in the car when you're driving and like you're having a conversation with yourself and you don't know how you got home, right? That's that voice, and it's crazy, right? So, the voices spew our failures. They just do, right? That's why it's really important to get rid of the failures, because if the voices can't talk about your fail, right? We talked last week about reframing. Like you reframe what it is. You have a failure, you have something that is something horrible that you went through and it poisons and talks to you, it's like it holds itself with so much heaviness. You have to reframe it. Because if you don't, guess who uses that against you every time you do anything wrong? Right? The voices. All right, so next page on your book. Who are they, right? Yes, assholes, right? So, we're gonna disqualify anybody who's actually talking to you, okay? So, there's the saying, right? You're the average of your 5 best friends. There's the saying that, all these millions of things of like people, talking to you and who you surround yourself with and what's happening and you're getting fed every day. Like we're just going to disqualify that. So not actual people who are talking to you who are assholes every day, right? Because we all have those. I'm talking about who is it that triggers you, right? And we all have different triggers, okay? So there's one voice that talks to you when you put an outfit on and you look in the mirror, right? It's someone. It's your mom, it's your fucking grandma, it's the neighbor, it's your sister, it's your dad, it's it's your teacher, it's a group of girls that you went to school with, it's someone, right? That's a different voice than talks to you when you lose your keys, right? Or you lock yourself out of the house, or you get drunk and you say something wrong to someone, right? Or whatever, right? You make poor choices, different voices. It's not the same person. And it's really important to identify it, because if you identify it, then what do you get to do, right? You get to control it. You get to fight back against it. If you don't know who it is and you think it's you talking to you saying these horrible things, how are you going to live your life, right? So it's intense. And as I always say, like, do a little bit here. It's fine, And then if you need to, like, go home. Like, the more work you do on stuff like this, the farther you're going to get. It just is. I spent 5 years going to class every Saturday morning that my mentor held. And some people did the work, a little bit. and they got a little farther, right? Some people did the work a lot, they got a lot farther. Some people didn't do the work at all. I mean, listen, like you still get something just for putting positive things in your head, right? And some people fucking attacked it. And where those people's lives are now, for the ones that were brave and got through everything, because the whole point of this is for it to be gone, right? The point is that we can't even talk about goals. Notice how the first day, like the first class that I did, right? I was like, write down some goals. You can write down anything you want. You can sit down with anybody you want and try to go after something. But if you don't believe inside of you, right, and that voice that's talking to you doesn't say you deserve this shit, you are never going to get it. It is the way that it works, right? They say there's something called the law of attraction. The law of attraction is that you can't just fucking think about something, you have to believe that it's going to happen for you, right? If you don't believe, then you're not actually putting out the intention, right? You're putting counter intention on something. Because you go, I want that. And then the voice says what? You're not gonna fucking get that, right? So what are you gonna bring to yourself? Not that. Definitely not bringing that, right? So take a minute and just think about those voices, right? Think about the things that you come into. This is a really great follow-up for the failures, right? Because it's like, if you did the work and really thought about the failures, you have the opportunity to sit here and be like, yes, right? So for those of you guys who weren't here, like think about a few things, right? Think about a few failures, quotes in quotes, right? That you have in your life, that you've kind of had the, you know, I say the ones that are particularly unhelpful, right? The ones that keep coming back to you. Someone goes to offer you a job and you're like, oh, well, I'm not gonna get that job, right? Whatever those things are that get brought up. And then think about who that voice is, right? And just make a list of a few of them. We wanna believe that the people who are around us actually really do care for us. And they really do love us and they really want what's best for us, right? It doesn't change the fact that this happened, right? It doesn't change the fact that it's there. You could have the most amazing, beautiful relationship with one of your parents at this juncture in time, and it could have been a voice that they did when you were 6 years old and something they said to you you can't let go of, okay? I lost my mom last week, and I was really, really lucky because my voice was her for a long time, right? I spent a considerable amount of my time in my life hearing her telling me that I wasn't going to do anything, that I wasn't good, she was better than me, right? This is stuff that was like real in my life that she did, right? You still hear it. You're not even around the fucking person and you still hear it, right? And that was really hard for me. But guess what I did? Like, I dealt with it. I identified that, right? And so every time I would see this monster, right? This thing, this voice, would see it, it was her. And then she got smaller, and she got smaller, and she got smaller, right? Till eventually I didn't hear it anymore, right? And then I moved on to the next thing. Okay, what was the next voice? And I talk about this in the blog post I just wrote. It's like, now it's just a fucking monster, right? And when I had identified it as a monster, it was like 10 feet tall, had green fangs, and it was trying to fucking kill me. And it really like did a pretty good job of it most of the time, until I got in control of it, right? And that's the part that I want to stress with people. If people think that you're just going about your life, my life's, you know, it's not that bad, it's great, oh, my life is good. How is it on your worst fucking day when you're by yourself? And for a lot of us, the unfortunate part is you have to be able to deal with this stuff, right? To have a great relationship, to have your life be great, unless you do it, right? Unless you let go of it, unless you deal with it. And it's pretty heavy, but that's my example of what it is. And some people might have different things, you know? I had a girlfriend who grew up like her grandma lived in their property, and like her voice was her grandma. Years after her grandma died, years. And then the third one, right? Third paper, question number 3, is what's your ammunition? You're in a war, right? So there's a monster there's a thing, there's these voices, we've written it down, we know who it is, and you have a battle to fight. Okay? So you can show up to the battle with a pillow, right? You can show up to the battle with an axe. You can show up to the battle with a tank. It's up to you.
Like a weapon?
Like a weapon, right? What's your weapon? The weapon are our trophies. You have a voice that's telling you that you're not good enough. What do you say back to that voice? Do you say back to them, I agree with you? Right? Do you say back to it, no, actually no, right? How do you fight back? And each one of these voices has a particular thing. So our ammunition can be different for each one, right? But that's why we started off this whole thing with what are your trophies? You need to know what you did right. You need to celebrate the fact that you got dressed, got to work on time, didn't kill the children in the car on the way there. You know, if I eat breakfast and lunch, I'm like, that's a trophy for me, right? Because I forget. It's a huge point of pride for me. I'm like, yes, I'm really doing it, right? So what are your trophies? And for the people who've been working on this, you should be able to just write down a fucking list of them. And the people that this is new, like, take a second. Think about it. Think about what you did. Just think about today, right? We can just go based on today. What did you do right? Because as a society, and I don't even know if it's everywhere, just human race type thing, we tend to always think about what we did wrong, right? So you do something, and specifically, women are really fucking good at this, but you do something, and immediately after you're like, okay, how could I do that better? Yeah, that wasn't very good. Yeah, I messed up there. Yeah, that didn't look okay. Yeah, we need to fix that, right? You don't go, I'm fucking rad. I'm so good at this. I'm amazing. Yeah, there was some stuff I can change, but that doesn't change the fact that you're amazing, right? But we don't give ourselves the credit. And it's the credit that allows you to be able to change, right? It's you having those trophies, you having the ammunition against the voices. Because when that voice pops up and you're like, put on an outfit, right? And you're looking in the mirror and you're like, yeah, I want to wear this outfit. And the voice goes, you're fat. Just with a fucking full stop. Just you're fat, right? Because sometimes it doesn't need to do much more than that. It doesn't even need to get into a whole tirade. It's just like be like just a that's like one of those like little stabs and like what runs away, right? And you're stuck with that, right? So you're left standing there looking at yourself in the mirror with what? I'm fat. Unless what? Right? Unless you have some ammunition. Unless you say to them like, fuck you, like I am not fat. This looks amazing on me. Like just I don't weigh the same as I did when I was 22 and I was anorexic and I was a drug addict and I was whatever, right? Like you can go through the whole thing, whatever your ammunition is. It's the same thing as when you fuck up, you know? Your boss calls you up and says, hey, we need to talk. Where do our brains go?
Oh no.
Oh shit, I fucked up again.
What I did was
they found out that I'm dumb, that I don't need to have this, right? No, like, why do we automatically assume that we're fuck-ups? That we're doing everything wrong? Because we've been told we're doing everything wrong, right? That's why the trophies and giving the trophies are more important, because you reprogram, right? You reprogram yourself to think good thoughts about other people, which then allows you to be able to think that other people are doing what? Having good thoughts about you, right? All of this stuff, I know it sounds a little bit crazy. It's just because you're fucked up. And you just have to unfuck yourself. Like, that's it. No one here is broken beyond repair. Everybody here has the opportunity to have everything that they want, right? You just have to be able to get yourself to a place to not be fucked up anymore, right? So this is one of them. What's your ammunition? This helps you out in a million different ways. You having trophies not only helps you out with the voices, but what else does it help you out with? The actual people talking to you, right? Someone says you didn't do this right, and you go, I'm a piece of shit, I'm horrible, I can't believe I did that. Or do you go, okay, you know what, but I did a bunch of other stuff, right? I can take that, I can try to work on that. I can do better on that, right? It's so much easier to work on something if you feel good about yourself, right? Instead of somebody just fucking piling another thing on the garbage pile, right? And that's what I equate it to, right? I feel like for most of us, we are standing on top of a garbage pile. right? And there is just shit raining down on you every day, all day long, fucking hitting you in the head. Like, you're like, I didn't need that toaster oven to come, right? It's just like, it's just garbage. And unfortunately for most of us, I mean, I don't know how you guys were raised, but like, I wasn't taught how to fucking do any of this. Like, no one taught me how to handle how you drive to work in the morning, right? Los Angeles is fucked up. It's a crazy place. It's like no one gave me that information, and that's just one tiny thing. No one has a playbook. Nobody gave any. How many people know how to like build wealth? How to have like a bank account and save $10 every week or $100 every week and put it away so you could buy a house and.
She made me.
Right, great. So we have 2 people, right?
All my birthday money.
And your birthday money. I do that with our church too. I'm like, you have to save 10% of what you do.
Oh, no, we only
blah,
got
blah,
$10 for one thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's
But I bought a
good.
car at 60.
Yeah. Right? And guess what? Your life reflects that. But for most of us, we weren't taught that. I didn't even know there was a thing called money. I thought there was just a thing called working. I was like, I didn't know you got something at the end of it because it didn't like ever appear as if anything was happening. I was like, well, there's no extra anything, right? It's just a thing. Right? We weren't given the instructions on this. And so this is why I say to you, like, you have to give yourself a little bit of a break because you weren't taught it. People haven't helped you along the way. And you're kind of sitting here in the position of like, now it's your job. This process for a lot of people is like an onion, right? Peel something off. You're like, oh, I don't want that. I don't like it. It's not good. Then you peel something else off and you're like, oh, that's not good either. I don't like that, right? But it does lead to like the beautiful center part, which is your life, right? Which is the life we want. Does everybody have an idea of like what they would love their life to be like, right? Everybody here knows how to dream, correct? Right? As your life goes on longer without you doing things, that dreaming starts to go away, right? When you don't take action on those dreams and start bringing that into your life, it starts to go away. Do you know why? Belief. Right? Every time you take a step closer to the door, where do I think I'm eventually going to get to? The door. Every time I don't take a step closer to the door, what does my brain say to me? You're never gonna fucking ever go to the door. Ever. Stop thinking about the door, you're just gonna be stuck. Right? And this is what's happening to us. And this is the reason why it's so important to get control of that. Because who says to me, I'm never gonna fucking go walk towards the door?
Yourself.
It's not yourself.
These people.
Those people on that list, right? And this is the whole point of this. This is the reason why we want to get rid of those voices. And we want to identify them who they are and say, get the fuck out, pack your bags, thank you so much, your stay is over here. It's because there is a voice that's you. There is one, right? It's just fucking buried. And it doesn't talk to you very often because you don't fucking listen to it, right? This voice says, you're amazing, you can do it, you're spectacular, you deserve everything you ever think about, right? This voice has all kinds of nice shit to say to you. But guess what it's not doing? It doesn't want to get fucking beat up, it's hiding. So that's why this is so important, to get rid of the voices, right? Because you want to get to that place. You want to get to the place to where somebody offers you a job. How many people have ever been offered a job or something and you thought that you didn't deserve it, right? There's no fucking way that person wants to work with me. There's no way that I'm gonna get that. That's like crazy. How many people have ever wanted something, anything? Car, vacation home, plane, right? And then thought that they didn't deserve it and they're not gonna get it, right? This happens to everybody. It's just by nature of how it is. You're not the only one, right? It's the voices. So my advice, right? So I'm gonna give you a little 30-day plan. I do this with everybody. Every time I come here, you can do it, you can not do it. The people who get to where they wanna go faster happen to do the steps. That's just them, right? So number one, be kind. Try to work on finding that other voice. Because it's gonna take a long time for you to get rid of the really fucking dickish ones that are in there. The nicer you are to yourself, the nicer you are to other people, the faster it's gonna come back. The safer it's gonna feel, right? When you're nice to someone else, what happens in your head, right? What does that voice say? Think about it. Think about the last time you helped someone across the street, or you picked up their bags, or you did something for them, or you paid their meal. What does the voice say? That was so nice.
Such a good.
You are such a good person, right? So that's the voice. That's the one. It's not coming near you unless you're this, right? And most of all, it's about being kind to yourself. Understand, like you're a work in progress. You're gonna get there one day. You will, I fucking promise you will if you keep doing the stuff. But don't be so impatient, right? It takes time. Everything good does. It's like what, 100,000 years to make a diamond? It's like, you know, a year to build a house. Like babies aren't born walking and talking, right? Everything takes time and everything has to be taught, right? Identify the voices. This will help you in ways you cannot imagine. The second that you start thinking that you're an asshole talking to yourself, you will experience a whole new world. Now, one, you will be having arguments with the voices, but at least you won't be thinking that you're the person, right? There's nothing worse than like, I'm crazy. Oh, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I have all these things I want to do, and I keep telling myself I'm a piece of shit. I'm fucking crazy. Why am I crazy? It's like, you're not crazy, right? That's not your voice. But the sooner that you identify it, like the easier it's gonna be. And this is one that's gonna be forever. And you're gonna see it probably every other time you run into me. Build your trophy case. If you talk to me, you come up to me at any juncture in the day and be like, Kiara, how's it going? I'm like, so I did this right, and I did that right. Like it's like today I did this and this and right. It's not bragging. It's not being an asshole. Like being nice and doing things right and giving yourself credit doesn't mean that you're an egotistical maniac, right? It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. You are the only person who gives a shit about you. I wish it was different. I wish that we could say truthfully that like everybody else does. I have friends, I have a relationship, I have a child. At the end of the day, everybody is going to make a decision for themselves before you. It's wired into our DNA of our survival instincts. It just is, right? There's also another saying that helps you kind of put it to light. Put your own oxygen mask on first, because you can't help other people, right? This is ingrained in us. It just is. It's who we are. It's how we live. And you also have to do this, right? You have to. If you're not living and breathing and saying that I'm really great, then what are you going to go do with everybody else, right? What did we establish? When I'm fucking mean to myself, who else am I mean to? Everybody else. Those fucking people walking down the street don't have a shot in hell of doing anything right when you're being mean to you. That poor person did nothing. Tore them apart, right? We do it. And we love the Instagram, you know, things of people doing things wrong, and your hair's all fucked up, and is this your client? And like, you know what I mean? Like there's everything. We love it. But why do you think that is? Right? Because we're probably saying the same shit to ourselves too. If you don't have space for that, you don't have space for it, right? So you build your trophy case. Get into the habit of like when you wake up in the morning, and listen, some people have a harder time with things than others. Right? However far you want to go is up to you. So if you have a harder time than somebody else, keep a fucking notebook next to your bed and wake up in the morning and immediately be like, I'm amazing, I have good eyelashes, I am going to go, you know, I went for a walk, whatever. Like, write it down so that you know it. You know, if you're one of those people that just kind of spews negativity into your brain every day, then you're gonna have to work a little bit harder. But it doesn't mean you don't get to get as far, right? Most people that start off somewhere like a little bit lower than other people tend to go a little bit higher too. Just the way it is, right? Does this make sense to everybody?
Oh yeah.
Right? Everybody see how they're like a little bit of like fucking up their own life because of the fact that they're like playing into the nonsense and having conversations with the voice and you're right, yes, I am a piece of shit, yes. Yes, I'm gonna go eat ice cream now. Right? Like, we do this.
I just picture like little Schmeagle.
Little Schmeagle sitting in the corner, yeah, talking to you, right? But that's the point. Guess what? Make it Schmeagle and have it be out here. Because at least then it's not fucking in here. Right? Putting it on the outside, talking to it, having a conversation, being like, don't talk to me. You're pathetic. You're such a loser. Ship. Here.
You don't get to talk.
Yeah, starving. Go. Go away. Right? You don't get to talk. All right. So, you know, each of these things, trophies, happiness, reframing those failures, right? And then getting rid of the voices. These are all layers. These are all steps to get to where you want to get to. You know, I've said this before. If you want the whole game, and I don't mean like you get to have a successful career, but you work your fucking ass off and you never see your family and you have 3 divorces, or you have a beautiful family, but you never got to be successful. Like, people have stuff or 2. I mean the whole game, right? Where you wake up every day and you're fucking happy. In a place that you want to be, with people you want to be with, right? You get to do what you want to do. You make your decisions. Like, if you want that whole thing, it takes some work. It does, I'm not gonna lie. There is no magic pill for it. There isn't. You can't show up one time for yourself and then walk away with like everything that you've ever wanted. But the fucking cool part about it, you get to be one of the few people that has it. Right? If it was easy, right? And we all know that saying, like everybody would have it. And most people don't. Okay, so we have a little soiree afterwards. This is a great group of people, you know, especially for those of you who are new. Like, talk to the people who've been here for a little while. You know, talk to the people who've either worked with me or they've been to the classes, because it will help you. It's a great group of people who like really want you to do better and to be more. And, you know, it's a great community. So thank you for showing up for yourselves, as always. You know, I don't care if anybody comes here for me. My life is still gonna be fucking great, right? But you guys showing up for you, it's a big deal. Like, it's hard. I know it's not easy. I know it's like not an easy thing to set aside the time and drive in LA traffic and, you know, get yourself all jazzed up to have somebody talk to you about what the fuck is wrong in your life, you know? It's not easy. So it's like, it's good. And most people don't. I mean, even for the people who are tuning in at home, like, most people don't even fucking do that. Right? They just wake up every morning and bitch about how everything's all fucked up, and then they do nothing about it but complain. So congratulations, right? And let's get rich as fuck.